Okay, if you're a CMO or a brand manager, you've probably seen this term, the AI LoRA model, popping up everywhere. It's the new buzzword, right? And it's promising basically the holy grail for marketers. Visuals that are hyper-realistic, perfect brand consistency, and the ability to generate creative variations in an instant. But what is it really?
And, the first thought for a lot of people is, okay, here we go again. This must be the next big thing out of Silicon Valley, a slick, new piece of software that's going to cost you, what, $10,000 a year?
Well, that assumption is completely, totally wrong. And honestly, understanding why it's wrong is the key to unlocking the real power here. So what we're going to do right now is just unpack this AI LoRA myth. Because you need to know, this is not another software you just go and download. It's not some fancy dashboard you log into. It's something much, much more fundamental.
See, the real technology, the thing that's actually driving this whole revolution, has a different name. It's a name you really need to know. So let's get into the truth about LoRA.
So LoRA actually stands for Low Rank Adaptation. And look, don't let that name intimidate you. It sounds super technical, but in simple terms, it's an engineering technique. It's a method for taking a massive, general-purpose AI model and teaching it something very, very specific using a surprisingly small amount of your own data. This is the absolute best way to think about it. Imagine a huge foundation model, something like Stable Diffusion. It speaks a general language. It speaks human. It can make a picture of basically anything you can imagine. But a LoRA model? No. That speaks your brand. It's this hyper-specific layer that knows your CEO's face, your exact product design, your unique logo. And get this is what makes it so efficient. Instead of having to retrain a massive multi-gigabyte model, which costs an absolute fortune, you're just adding this tiny, specialized file on top. A LoRA file is often just 100 to 200 megabytes. It's incredibly lightweight. So because it's so lightweight, you get these massive benefits. It makes these giant, clunky models adaptable. It lets you guarantee brand consistency across every single image you generate. And it means you can affordably create and run dozens of these custom models all at once. One for each product, one for each campaign, maybe even one for each executive. Okay, now let's talk about how this actually translates into a real strategic advantage. Because once you get the tech, you realize it delivers something marketers have always wanted: control. This right here is the main takeaway. The first wave of generative AI was all about just creating cool, often kind of random images. This next wave, the one powered by LoRA, it's not about creation anymore. It's about controlling the output with absolute precision. It gets rid of the randomness, which, as we all know, is the enemy of effective marketing. And this control just completely shatters old timelines. I mean, look at this contrast. A traditional photo shoot for a new campaign variation could easily take 8 weeks. With a LoRA workflow, you can generate hundreds of production quality options in 72 hours. This isn't just a little efficiency gain. It's a huge structural advantage over your competition. So how does it actually work in practice? Well, it's a pretty straightforward 4-step process. First, you curate a small, high-quality data set of your subject. We're talking maybe 30 to 50 great images of your product. Second, you train the LoRA file on that data set. Third, you write prompts that combine your specific LoRA with all sorts of creative scenarios. And finally, you generate hundreds of on-brand variations in minutes, which lets you A/B test at a scale we've just never seen before. Let's look at a perfect real-world example: YouTube thumbnails. For any creator, their face is their brand, right? A consistent, recognizable face is key. But trying to get the exact same face with the right expression from a generic AI model, it's practically impossible. And this is where a custom LoRA model trained specifically on the creator's face completely changes the game. And the results? They are staggering. In actual tests, just moving from a generic AI face in a thumbnail to a custom, consistent LoRA face can boost the click-through rate by over 40%. That consistency just builds trust and recognition instantly. Okay, so let's say you're sold on the idea. What tools do you actually use to do this? The market is kind of split into a few key players, and each one has very different strengths. Let's break down the main options here. Stable Diffusion gives you absolute, complete control for custom LoRAs, but it's technically complex. Midjourney, on the other hand, delivers stunning visuals right out of the box, but you get zero customization. And then there's Adobe Firefly, which gives you the ultimate legal safety net for big corporations because it's only trained on licensed content. Really, the choice just depends on what you care about most: total control, pure aesthetics, or legal safety.
So where is all of this going? Well, it's leading to a really fundamental shift in how creative teams need to think about their entire job.
This quote just perfectly captures the new reality. The person who's going to win in this new era isn't the one who can write the cleverest prompt. It's the person who can design the entire system, the one who curates the dataset, trains the custom LoRA, and then builds the testing framework around it. And of course, that brings us to the inevitable question about jobs. Look, generative AI isn't going to replace great designers or photographers. What it is going to replace is routine, execution-focused work. The real value for creatives now is in the uniquely human skills: setting the strategic direction, building a narrative, and designing the systems that use this technology at scale. So I'll leave you with this question. As this technology becomes totally standard, the choice is going to be pretty clear. Are you going to be the strategist who builds and directs these powerful systems, or are you just going to be the one paying the bills for generic outputs? The control is right there for the taking.